would really help our people. All right, reaching on stretch now. Due to the increasing industrialization in urban settlements, Nigerians in rural communities can sometimes be neglected when it comes to the availability of power. This is where the Rural Electrification Agency of the federal government of Nigeria plays a major role. Since its inception, the agency has been helping businesses grow and making life more productive for residents in remote communities in Nigeria through the construction of renewable energy system powered by solar. On our Journalist Hangout special, we shine the spotlight on the efforts of the agency in enlightening communities in Nassarawa, Ogun, and the FCT. Let's share the story with you.
Alternative, renewable or clean energy is the sourcing of power from unlimited sources like biomass, ethanol, hydropower, geothermal power, wind and solar energy. In recent times, scientists have extended sources of renewable energy to include animal and human wastes, as well as agricultural byproducts. It is called clean energy because it poses little or no damage to man and the environment, and renewable because its shelf life is limitless. Nigeria is the most populous country and largest economy in Africa. It has one of the fastest growing populations globally, leading to increasing demand for energy. That is key to boosting economic development. According to a report by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, out of $1.7 trillion needed annually by Nigeria and other developing countries to sustain investment in clean energy, they were able to attract investment worth $5.44 billion in 2022. To meet the increasing demands of power in Nigeria, the Rural Electrification Agency is helping businesses to grow and making life more productive for residents in remote communities. In Shoho, a community in Abuja, the Rural Electrification Agency, in collaboration with its partners, installed a 100-kilowatt peak solar hybrid mini-grid for residents.
We have panels, array of panels of 100 kilowatt peak, where generation is being taking place, and it moves to the storage where the excess energy is being stored in the battery in the form of chemical energy before it being converted again to AC current, where the household will be needed for the transmission. That's the last stage of the process.
More than 1 year after the project was established, businesses as well as homes in Shogo have enjoyed uninterrupted power supply.
This is one of the projects for federal government intervention into electrifying rural communities for the underserved and the unserved. This project is a renewable energy project, solar system. It serves the community and it also serves some productive users. These do not require extension from existing network, but it's a standalone system.
The 24-hour power supply has put smiles on the faces of business owners and households in Kaido. Abdul Karim is a 27-year-old manager of a milling business owned by his family. He says before now, keeping the business running was a Herculean task due to high cost of diesel, as he required 25 liters per week to power his machine. But installation of the mini power grid has changed the story.
I'd like to help my business. Seriously. We appreciate them. We appreciate. Because as they carry this light come outside, we're happy.
The renewable energy project is not only economically beneficial, families in the community are also enjoying its impact. Sakinat is a newly married wife and resident of Kaido, Shogo. He says some years back, life in the community was not only difficult, but unbearable. However, the story is now different.
We are enjoying the right way. We use that for phone, for funk, for television, for engine, for laptop. for fridge.
Arwaza, an agrarian community in Doma, local government area of Nasarawa State, is predominantly occupied by the Ogun people, and here the people are mostly farmers. After years of darkness, the federal government, through the Rural Electrification Agency, has installed a 50 kilowatt solar power project in Arwaza community. The project has the capacity to supply electricity to 400 households in the community.
These projects are spread across the country, and it helps alleviate poverty, it helps, it provides palliative for the oil subsidy removal, because hence they use electricity from solar now and no longer have to use from fuel, diesel or fuel operated generators.
The Alwaza Primary Health Care Center is one facility with solar power. The deputy officer in charge of the health center tells us how the new electricity grid has brought improvement to the health facility.
Before we had been using torch, buying torch, even the generator to fuel at times is a problem for us. We found it difficult. But with the advent of these lights, in fact, we really appreciate we can be able to do even minor soldering that we found it difficult before.
Not too far from the health center is a barbing saloon owned by Charles. He said installation of the solar system has helped him save cost hitherto incurred from the use of a generator.
Oh, we are using it daily. We are buying fuel to use it. Maybe someday we are buying fuel for 2 liters or 3 liters a day. But now we are using sunlight, but we are making more than before we are using fuel.
A REA farm in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State, southwest Nigeria, sits magnificently on a 156 hectares of land. It is one of the biggest fish farms in West Africa. The farm has sections for poultry, piggery, and aquaculture. To assist them in reducing their expenses on petrol and diesel and promote clean energy, the federal government, through the Rural Electrification Agency, built a 100 kilowatt solar powered mini grid for the farmers.
What we have here is 100 kilowatts peak solar mini grid that we installed for them. We look at the cluster area where all farmers came together. They have 3 different livestock here. So what we initially plan to do for them is their feed mill plant, to power it so that at every point in time they will be able to get their feed mill.
The project executed by the Rural Agency is currently providing power for about 10% of the farm, with poles erected and cables laid across different sections. Meanwhile, information from Statista, a data and statistics website, show that as at 2022, Nigeria had a total renewable energy capacity of 2.16 megawatts. Renewable energy is not only cost-effective, it poses little or no pollution to man or the environment, as well as having immense job opportunities. For a pollution-free environment and stable power, alternative, clean or renewable energy is the way to go. Well done, Rural Electrification Agency.
We thank our reporters on Godwin Agwan from Nassarawa, Lara Afalayan from Abuja, Kasim Olawe from Ogun State for putting together that report on rural electrification. Judy, I remember this is not just that. Under the last administration, under the Minister of State for Power, I remember you going to some communities, especially in Obudu. Yes. And we saw the launch of this as in for a time like this, that we have hiking petrol prices. This will come so handy.
Honestly, you know, we need the Rural Electrification Agency at this time more than at no other time in our history. You know, we used to have Rural Electricity Board in those days that provided electricity in the rural areas, yes, you know, yes. Where the communities are not covered by the national grid. Now, what the REA does is to provide alternate grids in communities, in rural communities, underserved, they call them the underserved communities, communities where people need electricity but they don't have it. Now, in what they are doing, you know, during COVID, they were giving electricity to the major hospitals in our country. They were giving them electricity so that by that they can play their own part in saving lives. Today, if you go to Nigeria's tertiary institutions, UNELAG, OAU, Bayero University, you see the handiwork of Rural Electrification Agency under the leadership of Ahmad Salijo. The young man has done...
it is 24 hours.
Yes.
Consistent.
Yes. What they also do is, and you know, it's so easy to maintain. As long as there's sunlight, you don't have a problem. Where you don't have constant sunlight is where you say, what are we going to do? But
we are blessed.
We are blessed with consistent sunshine. We are not like some countries where they don't have
9 months for...
Now, those universities I was talking about, there were universities that students will go on riots when the elections are approaching and they don't have light. Go to, I think, 17 federal universities have benefited so far. 17. UNILAG, if you go to UNILAG, you see their own.
To cut down your wage bill on power.
No, this is what they use. And the students are trained to be able to maintain it on their own. You know? And they also train people in those communities, for example, where they've given them electricity. It's part of REA's contribution to even whittling down on the effect of poverty on our people. When you go to communities where there are business hubs, look at that market in Doma, for example, in Doma local government. The women who want to produce gari, for example, and other things, they need light, but they can't pay because it's expensive. So Rural Electrification Agency goes to identify such communities at no cost. They go and deliver alternative energy to them, and those people, you heard that guy who said we now make more money, or like before when we were
spending on diesel.
Yes, we now make more money because this is cheap, it is clean, no pollution, no noise. You won't even know that something is working. You just see light. So it's something, especially at this time, government has to support this agency of government so that it can take its efforts to all the nooks and crannies of our country, so that our people who do not have money to buy petrol, to pump water in their rice fields. You know, rice now, you need to regularly constantly pump water. So if they have electricity in such production sites, they will be able to produce a lot more. These are the things that we are saying. So I just want to commend REA for what they are doing, and they need to realize that there is still a lot more to do to reach all of those our communities that are underserved.
Even not rural communities alone. If I have access to this, as somebody that's in the urban center in the country, if I have access to this kind of power supply, I don't need my disclosure.
National grid.
Yeah, I don't understand. What will I be doing if I'm
petrol at 500
honestly
naira per liter? You see, you have to commend the Rural Electrification Agency. You know, and I believe it's one of the agencies of government there that are basically underreported.
They're silently working.
And you know, the little we have seen of what they have done and what they've done on the universities is highly commendable.
I think they need to be more funded.
31 hospitals provided electricity.
Yes, so I think government should look into how they can enhance the activities of this agency, you know, to ensure that they do more
I think at the last,
because these are ways.
They said over 60%.
Yeah.
These are not in the national.
When we are talking about food insecurity or food security, it is one of the ways to ensure that we have adequate food supply in the country. Because if we ensure that these communities are able to produce optimally, there's no way it will have any effect on the economy or the people. So it's very important for government to look into this area. But we should not also forget that even in the rural, in the urban area, we are still having problems with electricity.
Yes.
Not everywhere, And so government has a lot to do. For example, there are only different alternative sources of energy that could be tapped into. Apart from the hydroelectric energy, wind, solar energy, geothermal energy, nuclear energy, wind energy, and biomass energy. All these ones, they are areas that government should. But I believe that basically in Nigeria today, what we have always done is hydro. And we are not,
gas. Hydro.
Yeah, So
exploited.
We are not exploiting all these things. Yes. For example, a country like Paraguay, alternative source of energy is about 90% of the source of energy. So they are not worried about this green gas emission that will affect pollution. So these are areas we should try and explore as a country.
I was when I was doing some research about this Rural Electrification Agency, I saw that since 2020 they have delivered power to 1.5 million households.
Really?
And 7.5 million persons in those
rural.
Yes. It has also delivered 130 mini grid projects, And during that period, they provided solar street lights stretching 1,650 kilometers. So, as he said earlier, REA is doing a lot of work that Nigerians are barely even hearing about. There are agents of government that they don't do 1/10 of what Ahmad and his people are doing, and there's so much noise in the noise media. Noise without substance. We have to help them to fulfill their mandate.
Government will fund them more.
Government will fund them. Even the support from donor agencies will come when they can see that you are doing so much work and Nigerians are happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see Nigerians confess that, since you people brought this light, we're able to produce more fish and all that, like what we saw in the Djibouti. Helping business. You can imagine businesses happy. Yes, you can imagine business that will have died.
Yes.
On account of power supply.
Babas. Another Baba.
How much do they get?
Exactly.
When they what will be left? And if you price your services too much, people will stay away.
People will just
start cutting their hair by the So, with the support of REA to businesses, especially in those business hubs, maybe there's a location near your house where they produce gari, and that place has been there for so long. But those women are complaining that with the coming of, with the rising price of petrol, we are facing so much
this kind of succor.
This is the kind. Those are the kind of places that we need REA to intervene. And they are saying that as part of national poverty reduction and growth strategies, 50,000 locations in rural areas, including schools and micro businesses, have been already provided with alternative energy. In my town, for example, the church, they had to do solar. It cost them 10 million. And when they were the company that helped them to build it, they were owing the company some money. So you know how it usually happens when you go home and you are doing Thanksgiving. Church will mention what they want. And they said, look, we are still owing 1 million. We had to come together, and say, okay, let's defray this cost. They are happy now. You won't hear any sound, and they have light. There is an airport in India that is run 24 hours on solar energy. Wow. There is a lot, Nigeria, especially in somewhere around Jamari in Bauchi State. Someone said is probably the hottest part of Nigeria. We have sufficient sunlight. So we need to take the work of REA to all the corners of our country. And I know that we have a president that listens. We now have a president now that doesn't joke with all of them because he knows it will impact on his desire to see GDP of our country grow. This is how to get the GDP of our country to grow. Stimulate production in every part, whether it's in the Koleo or advocacy, wherever people are into serious production.
Especially with the breaking down of this, the deregulation of this power sector.
Yes.
So we don't all have to be.
Of course. Yeah, we don't all have
let everybody.
These are all these
local government
connected national grid.
No, they're not. Yeah.
These are off-grid projects that they are delivering. You know, when I was that in my interview with the immediate past CMD of Luth, when I was doing the documentary, he said 1 second of the day now they don't experience electricity
because they need it. The critical sector.
They have it. They have it now. You go to Luth, they have alternative energy. That's what they have. You know,
conducting the operation at any given
anytime, and all those schools. I'm just happy. Go to Bayero University. You just see those solar panels occupying a wide area.
That's good.
You know, so they can REA can actually help us to bridge that electricity supply gap, and they are doing it. All we can do is continue to support them and encourage government to pay attention to what they are doing and give them that support, because it is when they get that support they can do a lot more. So this is well done to REA once again.
That's a little bit there. I want to thank you, Bolaji Tunji, for this edition of Journalist Hangout, and Babajide Kolade Toju. Thank you for another 120 minutes. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight by 11:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozubaku. See you tomorrow by 5 p.m.